The top brass from Buffalo Police streamed into City Hall, I should say, to figure out what happened and what went wrong during the historic holiday blizzard. Yesterday, it was the fire department that kind of brought some grievances to the Common Council with a long list of recommendations and equipment requests. And today, the police department got its chance to speak out on this. Two on your side's Ron Plants is following that for us. And Ron, I know you were listening into that police advisory meeting that happened earlier today. Didn't know this was even going to be one of the big topics, right? This is a regular thing that happened, but obviously, you know, we're all kind of doing these look backs at what went wrong, what happened during the blizzard. What are some of the things that have emerged now as they're kind of reviewing all of this?
Yeah, and maybe steaming, maybe they did steam in it away.
Steamed and streamed.
Okay. It really comes down to three things in the questions that we picked up on: communication equipment and perhaps more emergency supply stocking for police stations used as shelters for some of the 65 people who were rescued out of the storm by the BPD. Okay, communications first here. There was a bit of a tense exchange between Councilman Chris Scanlon and the commissioner over what Scanlon says are officers telling him they felt cut off and even somewhat, quote, abandoned when it came to their orders and mission during the storm. The emphasis obviously on search and rescue with those hundreds of calls coming in to 911. But here is how Commissioner Gramaglia responded on that communications question.
The calls I was receiving from people working those evenings were that they have tried to extend these concerns up the chain of command and they weren't getting responses. So again, and maybe it's just a miscommunication, whatever it is, just maybe go back over that setup and that system so that everyone is informed about how that should work.
I certainly would, but I would honestly like to hear specific examples of where somebody could not get a hold of their lieutenant or their chief, the deputy commissioners or myself. I would like specific examples because, as I said earlier, I can't get better, we can't get better if we don't know what those exact specific examples were and who couldn't get a hold of somebody.
So you have to imagine this is something that's going to come up again as they're dealing with that. You also mentioned equipment. What are the requests there in terms of what they would like to see when this inevitably happens again, God forbid?
Yeah, well, Michael, yesterday the fire department had a long, perhaps expensive list of some of the equipment, vehicle repair, things like that they would like to see, highlighted by the blizzard. Today, though, the police, somewhat different perspective, even with the potential use of those tracked vehicles that we've heard about, because a lot of police cars got stuck. In some cases, officers actually carrying people on foot to police stations, we heard today. So again, what kind of different vehicles? Well, this is some of the things that they were talking about, perhaps adding.
A lot of agencies are looking at now are these UTVs, these kind of ultimate terrain vehicles. What I don't want to do is knee-jerk reaction and order something that would be so type specific that will never get used and sit at the Seneca Street Police Garage. Looking at these UTVs, I want something that the city will get the best bang for their buck. And those are the type of vehicles that can be used for festivals, parades, rails to trails. If any requests we are going to make of equipment, I want to make sure that it's more than just a one type specific thing that's going to be parked in a garage for potentially 11 and a half months of the year.
Now, we found out today that the city police have about 107 vehicles, and they say about 85 of them are all-wheel drive vehicles distributed through the 5 police districts. Finally, again, that suggestion, some of those stations, the district stations, should actually be stocked with cots and MREs, meals ready to eat, so that officers that are stuck there and anybody who'd be brought in out of the storm would have something to eat and some place to rest. The police did their own internal assessment, we understand, back on January 3rd. They're seeking more information. The council is from that. Perhaps more to come down here between the council and the Brown administration.
There is a lot of stuff to go over. I mean, with all the stuff with the fire department yesterday, all the stuff with the police department today, something we'll be covering a long time. Ron, thank you for your report.